time in at least 25 years, 2 underdogs of at least 9 points in the NBA playoffs won outright on the same night.
Give me them underdogs. Come on. Them underdogs, they bark. They bite a little harder than regular dogs, Zach.
Yes.
Arr, arr, arr.
Yes. And the Pacers won and beat Cleveland. They weren't a 9-point underdog, but they were damn close. I think they were 8.5, by the way. So it's these have. By the way, I'll give you a headline from the future. One of the most watched NBA playoffs of all time. Oh, nobody watches the NBA. Oh, the ratings are down. The ratings are down. Well, the fall's pretty busy, especially when there's a presidential election going on. That was pretty spicy. So just like everyone ready to dance on the NBA's grave. Hang tight.
Oh, relax, Zach.
A headline. No. I take it personally because people don't know what they're talking about. They just people don't watch the NBA anymore. But do you think they watch baseball more? You think they watch hockey more?
That's crazy.
Stop. You're going to get a headline here in 2 weeks that's like, hey, this is the most watched second round in since Michael Jordan or Shaq and Kobe.
NBA is huge. It's just the baby sister to the NFL. We all know that.
Everyone is. Everyone is.
That's true.
There is no comp for the NFL. And if you're looking for one, the closest you can find is college football, who still isn't on their block. Truly. All right. Let's get focused here.
The block is hot.
The block is hot. Juvie. So we had this press conference this afternoon. How fascinating. How fascinating. And Will Peterson was there. All right. We're going to be joined by Will a little bit later in the show. We have to go to counseling here at work.
Yeah, did you guys kiss and make up? We're all good.
We didn't kiss and make up, but we shook hands and we're.
I don't know. Will's feeling has a bunch of bars of soap putting it in a pillowcase. He might be waiting for you.
We're good. We're good. But we will hash things out when he comes back here at just after 5:00 because he was there. But I could tell you from watching this press conference, Phil, it was one of the more somber press conferences that you will ever hear. There was no effort to put a coat of paint on what happened. Joe Sakic and Chris McFarland were wearing the disappointment and heartbreak.
There's no other way to do it. You had a major meltdown. You made so many different moves that should have helped us out and moved past the first round and had a chance to win a cup this year, and you don't get it done. Now you have to sit there and you have to face the music. You have to sit there and face everybody and just be real.
Yeah.
That's what we all want. We just want to be told the truth. And if you can do that, you're going to be better off. And I believe that Joe Sakic and Chris McFarland both did that.
Well, it started off with an announcement. And I'm telling you, the start of the announcement was a doozy.
They did that on purpose.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so here's Chris McFarland right off rip with an announcement that they've made a change.
Today we made a difficult decision. We're gonna move on.
Now, if I just stop it there,
Everybody's looking up like, oh no.
Where does your head go?
Bednar's out the door.
Of course. And so it's like a cliffhanger, but of course he goes on.
Today we made a difficult decision. We're gonna move on. A good hockey man and a good person and a good coach in Ray Bennett. So just wanted to start off with that and thank Ray for many, many years of 100% commitment to us. Ray's been around a long time, and that was not an easy start to the day.
Come on, Zach. They did that on purpose. He could have easily, and he
I
kept
think
it
you
going.
may be right.
He kept it going, continue to add.
Say goodbye to a good hockey man. I mean, oh my gosh.
Great father. Okay, what's going on?
Oh my gosh. You may be right, actually. I mean, especially listening back here, you may be right. But, we brought up the name Ray Bennett yesterday. And then when your power play, I think they finished 3 for 24 or something to that effect, and one of their last 18 on the power play. In what truly, and I didn't need them to say it because we said it yesterday.
Yeah, we watched it.
We watched it. We
Every
lived
single
it.
Game.
The special teams swung this series. Wasn't the only thing, but special teams, I think, had the heaviest hand in altering the outcome, especially when Dallas had been roundly outplayed for 80% of the series, but special teams in hockey serve as like a 3-point shot in basketball. It can be an equalizer.
Yeah, well, Zach, when you have the firepower like the Avs do on special teams, especially the power play in both the first and second unit, you have to be able to come up with some kind of points, you got to score. And that's something that the Avs were not able to do throughout the series, throughout the playoff series against the Dallas Stars, and it hurt us. Simple as that. On top of goalie play at the end there, the power play unit was not good enough. And if you're not good enough, your coach gets fired. Simple.
Yeah, and Ray Bennett's been here for nearly a decade, and it's unfortunate. Does it feel like he's a bit of a fall guy, or is it warranted because of all the stuff that we said yesterday and just now?
No, he's definitely not the fall guy in this. Why? Because it's the power play unit that we're talking about. It's the special teams in general that we're talking about. We're sitting here talking on these microphones about, hey, if our special team was better, we win this series. Well, when your coach you have a coach that specifically focuses on special teams in the power play units, and it doesn't come through, you're going to get fired. That's just like a special team coach in football. Although for the Denver Broncos, you had Kawika, who was like top 5, top 10, and ends up getting fired. Usually your special team coach stays, but that's not the case with the Broncos. But if your special teams cost you games, it doesn't matter what sport you're playing, that coach is going to be fired. This is a performance-based business, and if you're outperformed and you don't do your part, you don't have a job, Zach.
You know where the Avs ranked in the NHL in power play percentage this past year? Top 10. They were 8th in the NHL.
They picked it up towards the end of the season.
They did, and good recall, because they did have stretches where they really struggled, but at the end of the day, after 82 games played, the Avs were converting on 25% of their power plays, 24.8 to be specific, okay? That ranked 8th in the NHL. Dallas was the back half of the NHL. They ranked 17th out of 32. Now, fast forward to the postseason, the Avs went from 8th out of 32 to 14th out of 16 teams in the playoffs. It just wasn't good enough. They went from converting 25% of their man-up opportunities to less than 14%. And Dallas is now in the top 5 in the postseason after scoring 7 power play goals in 7 games against the Avs. So I don't think Ray Bennett is a fall guy either. I mean, you have to make some sort of change.
Some kind of shakeup has to happen if you're not going to change the players and you're not going to change the head coach. Somebody has to go.
Or the general manager.
And
it was all too convenient. It's right there. So it's understandable why that happened. Obviously, never want to see someone lose their job, but the merit behind it is understandable. Here we sequence to another portion of the press conference where Chris McFarland was asked if any serious injuries were sustained in the first round. Here was the answer.
Well, obviously we lost Ross Colton in the I think right through game 1. Pulled his groin pretty good. That was a big loss for us, but I think, everybody else, bunch of players with bumps and bruises and that sort of thing, but nothing that would warrant anything more specific than that.
Nothing that would warrant anything specific than that. I think that is a legitimate takeaway from today's press conference.
Huge takeaway, Zach.
And why would you say, Phil?
Because I feel like both of us sat here a couple days ago saying we hope, not that we hope somebody gets hurt, but we hope that we hear some news that someone like Cale Makar, one of your best players, is hurt. Why? Because he did not do a good job this series. When your star player does not do a good job this series and had a great regular season year, then you want to sit here and have an excuse for the man. Because we know if Cale was playing like we know he knows how to play, then we're probably winning this series against the Stars. But Cale was MIA.
He was.
And so now it's like, okay, is he hurt? He doesn't seem like he's all in. He seems like he's a step behind at times, that he's shying away from contact. I was trying to come up with those excuses. Well, now you have Chris McFarland coming out saying Ross Colton was the only one that was hurt. So now you're looking at Cale like, what's wrong?
You can't explain it away.
No, there's no excuse to why you didn't play your best hockey. And now because you didn't play your best hockey, we're sitting at home. That's just the facts. You know what it reminds me of, Zach, a little bit, is when the Heat were playing Dallas. And LeBron was on the team with Wade, and LeBron didn't do a good job. He wasn't averaging the points that he was in the regular season.
Correct.
It hurt him. And at that time, because I was a Wade fan, I was upset with LeBron because I was like, man, Wade's doing everything he can. He's blocking shots, assists, everything, scoring, and you're not helping him out. And you're supposed to be the best player on the team. That really hurt me because I was a Wade fan. Well, this is the case with Kel. It's like you have Nathan McKinnon playing his best hockey, and you're not helping your boy out. That hurts. That hurts. And I know Kel's better than that, and we know that.
Well, deep pull with the LeBron Wade dynamic.
You remember that?
I do, because LeBron struggled mightily in that series against Dallas, and I'm. God, we're going the Wayback Machine, but he had a great primary defender on him, and it was like Tyson Chandler roaming behind that defender. It was all about slowing down LeBron, and they did in a major way. And it sounds bizarre, I'm sure, for someone driving down the road, like you guys were hoping for a Kale injury, not in terms of anything serious, but something that we could point to.
Excuse.
That like, hey, he's got like a deep thigh bruise, or he's got a contusion, or whatever, fill in the blank, that prevented him from showing up to the series. But 1 goal in 7 games, and it was an empty netter 200 feet away with 2 seconds left. It just wasn't good enough. There's been so much speculation about Jared Bednar and whether he will remain the head coach of the Avalanche. And McFarland, this is literally a 2-second clip.
100% confident Jared's our head coach.
There you go.
Enough said. I'm happy about it.
You are.
Oh, I'm ecstatic. Why? Because Bednar, he knows how to win. He has been given the keys, and although they should have won this year, we've had these talks a week ago, Zach, where it's like there was a lot of turnaround with this team with 2 goalies. You had Coyle, right? Charlie Coyle that was there. Jack Drury, Brock Nelson, Marty Netches. There was so many different moving parts in different faces that not enough runway to kind of get this team to gel the way you want to gel. And it showed during the series against the Stars. What does this team look like with your coach back, with all these players back in action, with Gabe fully healthy? What does this team look like having your unit back together, from your general manager to your coach to the players? You're going to probably win a lot of games because of that, because you have the continuity, because you have the chemistry down, and now you can go for another cup run because you have the pieces to do it with.
So I don't really disagree with that outlook or forecast. In fact, I agree with it emphatically.
But
it's 2 days after losing in the first round. You know, it's hard to.
Are we all supposed to just sit here, lay in bed, or are we supposed to get going and say, hey, we have no choice? But to think about next year.
No. I understand. It's just like.
Let me get the belt out and get you out of bed, Zach.
Well, just to repeat myself, not only do I agree, I agree emphatically. Okay? I have no doubt that next year in the regular season, the Avs are going to be an absolute wagon with the continuity that you're referencing. But it's 2 days after not getting out of the first round for the second time in 2 years, right? And it's 7 out of 8 years where the Avs can't get out of the second round. It's 3 out of 6 years where you've lost to Dallas.
Yeah.
And it's just it's hard, despite me agreeing, it's hard for me to get excited 48 hours after their season ends about what they're going to be next year, despite me agreeing emphatically. Because we talked about, even before Game 7 was played, that if you go back and look at teams in NHL history that try to flip their roster to the dramatic degree that the Avs did, and there's a delineating line. It's 10 of the 20 guys. When 10 of the 20 guys are different from Game 1 of the regular season to Game 1 of the postseason, it's been tried now 13 times in the history of the sport, and 10 of the 13 have lost in the first round.
Okay, so if you know that, which you did a great job of pulling those stats and kind of cautioning all of us that this could happen, which it did.
Yeah.
You know. So now I know it hurts.
They had the team to do it. That's what, do I think they're going to be great next year? Yes, and we'll talk about that here shortly. But so did Dallas.
Dallas thought the same way, and they were able to find a way to do it.
Phil, they were missing their two best players.
Which is even crazier because that means they had the depth and they had the physicality and the mindset to win.
It just doesn't make me feel better, though. It doesn't make me feel better on a day like today.
What is going to make you feel better?
Nothing. It sucks. There's no mystery door to open that's going to make me feel better on May 6th. But I want to diagnose how we got here. I want to
go ahead.
Continue to diagnose.
Everybody is different. Some people are more sensitive. Some people need more time to heal. Some people are like, it is what it is. We got to keep going. I'm looking at it as, hey.
So you're.
I have no choice.
You're over it. You're already excited about next year.
Yes, I'm very excited about next year, Zach. Like sitting here saying we should have, could have, would have, it's not helping us out. But sitting here now is talking about Gabe getting healthier, having Nathan McKinnon and Kale back, having some of the core players back, Val, having your coach back. I'm excited for it.
Phil, they were all there this past 2 weeks against an undermanned Dallas team. All the guys that you were just talking about that you're excited about, we're all here right now.
So you're not excited about next year?
I didn't say that. In fact, I said it 3 times to you. I emphatically agree with what you said. But
you're so hurt about right now.
Yes, I'm pissed off. I'm upset. I'm angry. It just happened 48 hours ago, 72 hours ago.
How long is it going to take you to get over it?
I'm not sure. I'll know when I know. But it's not today. It's not today.
You better get over it.
I mean, it's not today for me. And by the way, even if they go and win the Stanley Cup next year.
Oh, that's not going to be good enough for you?
Which they can definitely do. It doesn't, you missed a massive opportunity against an undermanned opponent that you outplayed and they choked and they blew it. That will never change. That will never change.
When they do, because we all agree, Zach, we always talk here, we all agree that they're going to be really good next year. It's the Avs. And they go out there and they win.
See, I don't like what you just said there. You said they're going to be.
Are they not in it every year?
Hold on. Let me get to my point. When you say they're going to be good next year, that's the Avs. It's taking the window for granted. They were piss poor before this window. They will be piss poor again. It's not in this window, but this is my point. You just wasted a bullet of the limited amounts that you have in this chamber for this era of the Avalanche. So just because you have more bullets left,
but you're also saying you wasted. Who wasted? Chris McFarland did everything he could. Bednar did everything he could.
I'm not isolating guys.
Wasted.
The team, they blew it. They choked. Their window closed by an inch, and that makes me upset. Just because they have more bullets in the holster doesn't mean one valuable bullet of McKinnon and McCarr's prime in this operation. Dude, this thing will cycle.
It will, but just not right now.
But it is right now.
But you're talking about cycle, so next year it's still in there.
I know that, but you have one bullet less. Phil, they haven't made it out of the second round for 7 out of 8 years.
Okay, Zach, so if they would have made it out of this first round and got beat in the second round, we would still be saying the same thing.
Yes, because it's championship or bust, and they just blew it in the first round, and you're super excited for next year.
What else am I going to be excited? Am I going to sit here and say, poor me? Is that how we do things? If something goes wrong in life, are you going to say, poor me, or are you going to say, I got to get up and do it?
They can't get up and do it. The playoffs are still going on. They have to wait 5-6 months, Phil.
That's fine.
It's not fine.
That's fine.
It's not fine.
For Jared Bednar, Chris McFarland, and Joe Sakic, they got to get back to work.
It's not fine for anyone. Look at the faces that spoke this afternoon. I don't know how it's fine.
So what are they supposed to do?
They can't do anything right now because they just blew it. They just had a season-ending press conference 72 hours after losing in the first round. It sucks.
It sucks.
And they can't. And
it does suck.
And you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything.
But look and see, okay, you can't do anything about it. But say, hey, next year they're bringing back their coach. They got pieces. Nathan McKinnon and Kale are still here. And yes, Zach, the window has closed just a little bit every year. Mm-hmm. But it's still open.
This was the best team that they've had since the Cup.
Supposedly. We didn't get out the first round.
Do you think a previous team was better since the Cup?
No, I didn't.
They had the team to do it.
But also we have the facts too. We have the history saying that, hey, this probably will not work. When it had all the different changes and all the different faces in here. We knew that there was a risk. And Chris McFarland probably knew about that stat in history as well and still said, you know what? I'm willing to do what it takes for Kel and Nathan McKinnon to make sure that the window stays open, which he did. We dropped the puck.
And Phil, here's the thing. You did so much to go in for it this year, you don't have the same resources next year. That's why this year, this window.
What are you talking about? We're going to have $8 million next year.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's going to help us out, right?
Phil, the whole league's going to have $8 million.
That's fine. We have core pieces. You got Val, you got Nathan McKinnon, you got Kale. Okay, who else? Who else? You got Marty Netjes coming back. You got Wedgwood and Blackwood. You have the core pieces that you need, and you build around them.
I understand. First of all, the increased cap flexibility, everyone's going to get that. So that's not an advantage for Colorado,
that's
okay?
Fine. Who does better with the cap money?
But when you go all in for this year, you don't have the same resources next year. They went all in and didn't get out of the first round.
So who
and
did they go all in that's not going to be back? Please answer me that. You got Gabe coming back. I just listed everybody that's coming back. Brock Nelson's the only one that may not come back, and even then we might pay him the $5 million.
Phil, do you think they'll want to do something at next year's trade deadline? Probably.
If they need to. If they need to.
You're not going to have the same resources. They truly pushed their chips in for this year.
You know what, though, Zach? Even with this year, with the uncertainty of Gabe, we didn't know how much money that we were really going to have. And we were still able to be aggressive. Chris McFarland, if he needs to be aggressive, will find a way. I don't believe he's going to have to be as aggressive as he was this year because you have a lot of the pieces coming back. And now it's about building the chemistry and then adding a couple more pieces. If Brock Nelson decides to leave or they can't pay him, you got to get a number 2 center in there. And then you continue to work out that. I don't know how the fourth line's going to look. All right, they were phenomenal for us this year. But there's going to be a couple pieces that we're going to have to get, of course. But I'm excited because a lot of the core pieces are back. And when you get a whole full season with this core, it's going to be exciting to watch. That's all I'm saying.
All right, well, you got 6 months to be excited until the puck drops for game one, and then another 6 months after that before the playoffs start again, where they just were about 12 days ago.
Okay, but that's how it is. Isn't that hockey? Isn't that basketball? No matter what, you got to get up and play again, and we're going to have to wait to get back to the playoffs, but they will get back there. We all believe that, Zach.
Here is, of course, we're talking about making the playoffs. I'm talking about winning a Stanley Cup.
And we'll do that too.
Okay. Here is Joe Sakic on how involved he was with the Actually, you want to know what? Let's take a break. Because we're up against it. And this next question is really, I thought, considering how much debate and discourse there was around the Mikko Rantanen trade, the question to Joe Sakic on how involved he personally was in the Mikko Rantanen trade, I thought was one of the most relevant questions of the press conference, and how he answered it. Well, it's going to be interesting.